Morning, everyone. Welcome to our first quarterly public comment meeting of 2025. In addition to these meetings, we have many public stakeholder meetings, as well as our board meetings year-round. This is a particularly important meeting because it gives people the opportunity to talk about a variety of issues that we're working on at the board, and we welcome the public participation that comes with these and all our meetings. Our next regular board agenda meeting is next Wednesday, March 19th at 10 a.m. in the Joe Fiordaliso boardroom here at the BPU. It's also live streamed. While public comment today at the quarterly meeting is welcome, we would ask that if you could keep your comments to 3 minutes or less. We do have a significant number of speakers today. If you have more lengthy comments, please submit them in writing to the Secretary's office. The written comment period for these meetings ends on April 18th. Just a reminder that at these meetings, we cannot discuss contested matters such as petitions or specific rate cases that are pending or impending before the board. But there are if there are other issues that the public wants to comment on, we are very happy to hear from everyone as long as it is not a contested matter. Everyone is welcome to attend this meeting, but only pre-registered speakers have the ability to speak today. So if you did not register to speak, you can listen, you can submit comments by writing, but you had to register specifically to speak because of the technology that we utilize. So we can't shift to a speaking role if you did not register to speak. The meeting is live streamed on YouTube and it will be available online. The same transparency practice that we maintain for our regular agenda meetings. Just a few opening statements from me. We have, again, a significant number of speakers today and want to give the opportunity for everybody to be able to speak and also for my colleagues to make any opening remarks. So last month, we received some very unwelcome news. I know that many of the folks that are registered for this meeting today are here to talk about the rate increases associated with the PJM generation costs. These new rates are from the wholesale market governed by PJM, which is a regional transmission operator, and they're set to take effect in June. We are obviously concerned and we don't want to see any increases that customers are going to be having to shoulder the burden for. Most utility customers don't know what PJM is and they shouldn't have to. We want people to be able to turn their lights on and pay their bills. And that's our number one priority, is reliable electricity at an affordable price. But what everyone should know is that electricity is a commodity just like gasoline or eggs. And when there is a shortfall, it costs more. And in the regional transmission operator PJM, the way that they procure electricity is through an auction. And last year's electricity auction prices were 9 times higher than the previous year's prices. There are a couple explanations for that, which I'm only going to go into at a very high level, but we encourage anyone who wants more information to reach out to the BPU. There are some market rules that PJM has operated under that have not appropriately accounted for supply and demand issues, and that has driven up the costs of electricity. These are issues that the BPU is working on and has been working on to ensure that PJM's market does actually account for real supply and demand. The other issue is that there is a growing demand for electricity, primarily data center growth, and in Virginia and Ohio, which are also part of PJM, are using a significant amount of electricity. And as a result, there is a smaller delta between the supply and demand, and that also drives up prices. So this is not a comfort for people. We understand that. The BPU has been engaged and Governor Murphy has been advocating for changes to PJM market rules to ensure that these kinds of prices do not continue to happen. But again, we understand that this is not a comfort to people who need to pay their bills. We have a significant energy assistance program for people to get bill credits. We have implemented for low-income customers last year a residential energy assistance payment. We are looking at every opportunity to try to help to offset some of the costs associated with these PJM related increases. So we assure you that we are taking this very seriously, that we are working to make sure that we can address as much as possible these increases in costs that are coming in June, particularly in those hotter summer months when there is significantly more electricity used for air conditioning. We want everyone to be able to pay their bills. And so we are working very hard to figure out ways to ensure that we can do that. So I'm going to close right that with my comments and open it up to any of my colleagues for any comments that they might have.
Madam President, may I have your permission to read a public notice statement?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Adequate public notice has been given pursuant to the Open Public Meeting Act. This notice has been posted at the board's office and website and emailed to the Department of State, into newspapers of broad circulation within the state.
Thank you. Sorry, I skipped that.
And I'm going to do the roll call. Commissioner Cristo DeLu.
Here.
Commissioner Abdul.
Here.
Commissioner Page.
Here.
And President Gosadobi.
Here, thank you.
Yes.
So if I could just echo some of the board's concerns and appreciation for so many people joining this call, not just internally, but from across the state of New Jersey, to show their interest in something that we have been working tirelessly to try and improve. We understand and take it very seriously, the cost increases. We are not happy with it. We are leaving no stone unturned in our pursuit to try and find ways to mitigate these market-driven price increases. But I hope that the conversation we have today and the dialogue with people across New Jersey will help inform us, not just of your concerns, but possibly some solutions as well. We are very open to finding the best path forward. And everything we've done here at the board is to make sure that our energy supply is reliable and affordable and safe. And we welcome everyone today. Thank you for being here. And I will take great care in listening to everything everyone has to say. So thank you very much. And welcome to this very important quarterly meeting.
Okay, with that, we are going to open it up to our speakers and Lauren will help facilitate. I know we have a few members of the legislature that have registered to speak today, and we'll extend the courtesy to them that they extend as well, and starting with the speaker, Speaker Craig Coughlin. Again, if everyone could keep their remarks to 3 minutes or less, that would be very helpful to make sure that we have enough time for everyone to speak. So Speaker Coughlin, are you with us?
Yes, Speaker Coughlin, you may now mute your mic.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, good morning, Speaker.
Good morning, Madam President and Commissioners. Thank you so much for letting me have a few minutes to talk to you. As you can probably well imagine, the notion of dramatically increased energy rates is something that weighs heavy on the 9.5 million people of New Jersey, and is something that we're hearing about on a regular basis. So I wanted to come to you today to say, first and foremost, thank you for hosting these quarterly meetings, to hear from New Jerseyans on matters that are important to them. And then you'll hear from me and from my colleagues about some of the things that we have concerns about, and our desire to work together to provide not only short-term resolutions, but certainly long-term solutions to the challenges that we're facing. For the past 8 years or 7 years and some months, Democrats in New Jersey have taken an all of the above approach to creating clean energy right here in New Jersey. We know that if we help support energy creation here, we can generate the energy our families and businesses need, while also creating generation of middle-class union jobs that will drive our economy forward. Most importantly, we also know that what this means for the people of our state. simply put, lower cost for utilities, which is something that is incredibly important as we have all come to understand the critical need to make New Jersey more affordable. So whether it's solar or wind, nuclear, or energy storage, or whether it's just been weatherizing and making us more efficient. We've worked together to lower costs by creating clean, affordable energy right here at home. I fully appreciate that we have not had the best of partners in the PJM. That organization operating the electric grid that covers New Jersey and all of our parts of 12 others, or parts of 12 other states. PJM has prioritized dirty energy and has consistently worked against our agenda to create clean, affordable energy right here in the state. PJM has consistently placed profits to dirty, out-of-state energy producers ahead of the cost to the people of New Jersey. And unfortunately, we have not had bipartisan partners right here at home. Our minority party has fought us on nearly every initiative to produce more energy in New Jersey and to make energy more efficient. The new administration in Washington hasn't been a friend either. They recently wiped out nearly 8 years of work done here in New Jersey to create clean energy on federal leases offshore. Now, Madam President, you and I know that there have been some of those sites that I've had some concerns about, but certainly writ large, we recognize the importance of that program. And Republicans in Congress are looking to eliminate tax incentives that have been encouraging the critical construction of new renewable generation and have helped support the nuclear generations that produce nearly half of our electricity. I want to remind everybody, back in 2018, to prevent the premature closing of the state's 3 nuclear power reactors, together, we established the Zero Emission Credit Program to stabilize and to keep those critical plans operational. Had we not done so, the consequences today would have been catastrophic. Unfortunately, reports over the last few days are that the administration's trade wars with Canada are pushing Canada to retaliate by raising energy costs to American consumers. That couldn't come at a worse time. Those efforts to fight clean energy here at home are a big part of why we're facing an energy shortage to begin with, and the potential for rate increases that go along with it, that you'll have to deal with. Democrats in the legislature, however, have always enjoyed a working relationship with the administration on our efforts to keep energy rates low. We recognize the work that all of you have done at the BPU to continue to do in providing utility assistance, which will be even more important as the weeks and months go by and rates begin to rise. It's difficult to explain to ratepayers looking at a 20% increase, perhaps, that profits from some utility companies in New Jersey are at an all-time high. For them, that just doesn't make any sense. And it's difficult to explain why there have not been more aggressive actions to keep rates low, why it remains so difficult for New Jerseyans to access the utility assistance they're eligible for. And so we must do more. Our caucus looks forward to working with you, all of you, to accomplish the goals of affordable utility rates now and in the future of New Jersey. Over the past few weeks, we've introduced a number of bills that we hope to use as a basis for a conversation about how we can work together even harder on the issue of affordability. We've announced, I'm sure you all well know, we've announced that we're going to conduct some hearings with our colleagues in the Senate, and we hope that that will come, that you'll come, and that those who will be able to help in crafting a solution. And please come in that spirit. At the end of the day, our number one goal is one I'm sure you share, and will continue to share. And that is to be able to provide affordable utilities to New Jersey residents. And we remain a committed partner with you in achieving that goal. So thank you for letting me be here this morning. Thank you for the work that you do. Thanks for the effort that you make on behalf of those 9.5 million New Jerseyans. And let's get together. Let's roll up our sleeves, get to work and help those folks so that this summer they're able to afford more than just their utility bills. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Speaker. Very appreciative of your comments, which we, take very seriously, and your partnership throughout, this administration in helping to ensure that people get energy bill assistance when they need it. So we look forward to continuing to work together. I believe that we have Senator Joe Cryan, who is speaking next on my list. Senator Cryan.
He does not appear to be on right now. So we can move on to the next person.
Which is Majority Leader Greenwald.
Yes. You may now mute your mic.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
Good morning. Yes, we can hear you, Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam President. I appreciate the opportunity to be here today with my friend, Speaker Craig Coughlin, and my colleagues throughout the state legislature and in the Assembly to voice concerns about the looming electricity cost increases for our residents. I've served for nearly 30 years in this great House of the Assembly, and I have never needed to testify before, and am doing so today before your entity because the New Jersey ratepayers are hurting with no relief in sight. This is basic economics. Demand has surged by 17% while supply has grown by just 1%. What happens to prices in that scenario? We all learned in basic economics, they go up, and that's exactly what we're seeing. As you heard from Speaker Coughlin, PJM, in our opinion, has failed the New Jersey ratepayers. They knew that data centers and extreme weather would drive up electricity demand, yet instead of preparing, they've left 3,000 clean energy projects stuck in limbo waiting for approval. PJM has the worst connection times in the nation, and while they stall, New Jersey families have been left footing the bill. With little help from the federal government, New Jersey has explored every avenue to bolster in-state power generation and cut costs for our residents, from offshore wind to nuclear energy to renewable natural gas. These are clean, sustainable, reliable, tested energy sources. And the FDU poll released days ago shows 1/3 of New Jerseyans support nuclear energy production, and another third support more natural gas production. So while residents may be split as to how to get there, the data is clear. New Jersey wants price stability and a reliable energy source, and we hear them. And like most consumers, they choose the brand they like. But that's why we have remained committed to energy diversification and doing everything possible to relieve the mounting pressure on our electric grid. New Jersey has led the way in investments into offshore wind, a low-cost energy source that would have added 5.2 gigawatts of power to the grid, enough to provide electricity to 2.3 million homes. And while pursuing innovation solutions like renewable gas, which repurpose decomposed organic matter into biogas that flows through existing natural gas infrastructure, helping to expand access and reduce cost. At the same time, we've been told that our regulatory framework is outdated and operates unlike any other state. So just as we modernized auto insurance almost 25 plus years ago, turning New Jersey into what became a national model, creating competition in the marketplace and lowering rates for consumers throughout New Jersey while making us the lowest amount of uninsured drivers in the state, we have an opportunity to do the same today with energy regulations. PJM's inaction has brought us to a breaking point. Staying the course is no longer an option. This is unsustainable. So I ask, what is our plan? What do you need from the legislature to increase supply? Is it wise to continue a public policy push towards electrification that will only further increase demand when we haven't addressed supply constraints? Whatever the answer, we in the legislature are ready to explore all options and do whatever it takes to lower utility costs. We are your partners in this fight, and all options are on the table. Tell us what you need from us in order to deliver this much needed relief to our residents. However, be aware, we are prepared to move forward on our own. Much like I did with auto insurance regulatory reform, my team is beginning the process of review here as to what we can do to modernize our system. We welcome you to this debate. Our success back then was bringing all parties to the table to find out what was broken and how to build it up from the ground up. The BPU, as you know, is an agent of New Jersey government. There is a balance of infrastructure necessities and acknowledging what is happening to the people we all represent and the pain they are experiencing in their everyday life, the cost pressures that they face from the supermarket to the gas station to the cost of repairs and now to their utility costs. I couldn't be more appreciative of you having this hearing, but what we do from this day forward will make the difference for our residents and hopefully take this opportunity to move New Jersey forward in a more competitive nature. Thank you for having me, and thank you for the time of listening to us today.
Thank you, Majority Leader. We very much appreciate your comments, and we take these issues very seriously. We look forward to working with you on the legislation that you've put forward and that your caucus has put forward. So thank you very much. I believe Senator Cryan is our next speaker, and is with us. Senator Cryan?
Yes, Senator, you may now mute your mic to speak.
Hi, good morning. My name is Andrea. I'm here on behalf of Senator Cryan. He unfortunately had a personal matter that came up, so he will be submitting comments after this.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Mhm.
Our next speaker is Assemblyman Bailey. Is Assemblyman Bailey with us?
He does not appear to be on.
Okay. Our next speaker is Assemblyman Abdelaziz. Assemblyman?
Yes, you may now mute your mic.
Good morning, everyone. Could you hear me?
Yes, good morning. We can hear you.
Good morning. Thank you for allowing me to speak today. My name is Al Abdelaziz, and I'm the new representative for the 35th Legislative District in the General Assembly. I signed up to speak today to express my genuine outrage over the coming utility rate increases and the significant impact they will have on the Bergen and Passaic County families I represent. I find it hard to believe that at a time when we should be identifying cost savings for residents already facing uncertainty of cuts of aid and programs coming out of Washington, greedy utility companies are instead finding a way to dig even deeper into people's pockets. The day I was sworn in, I promised to exhaust every avenue to find some relief for the people I represent. One of the very first actions I was forced to take was stand against greedy utility companies prioritizing profit above all else. With all due respect, the BPU has allowed energy suppliers and utility companies to gauge New Jersey residents. It is completely unacceptable. I am new to the legislature, but as a former councilman, I am not new to fighting for the people I represent and the things I believe in. The corporate greed and subsequent failure to stand against this rate increase by the people tasked with protecting ratepayers simply cannot be tolerated and should never be allowed to happen again. I'm working with the Speaker and my colleagues on a comprehensive energy package in the General Assembly. That legislation will demand transparency and accountability, and once enacted, will help ensure important ratepayer protections against corporate greed and the seeming indifference on the part of those tasked with minding our money. Where I come from, we fight to protect the people we represent. Frankly, that should be the least we all do as public servants. Thank you again for affording me the time to speak with all of you today. Thank you.
Thank you, Assemblyman. We look forward to working with you to address these issues. I believe we have Assemblywoman Simmons as our next speaker. Assemblywoman Heather Simmons.
Yes.
Yes, good morning, Madam President and Commissioners, and thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Heather Simmons, and I'm a member of the New Jersey State Assembly representing the 3rd Legislative District. I understand the difficult position that the BPU is in. We're facing rising energy costs driven by supply chain issues, infrastructure demands, and market volatility. These are real challenges, and I recognize that ensuring a stable and reliable energy supply while maintaining costs is not an easy task. But at the end of the day, it's the families, it's the seniors and small business owners in my district and across the state who are really feeling the squeeze. In 2024 alone, New Jersey residents saw a significant increase in their electric bills, with some rates rising by as much as 17%. That's not sustainable. It's a burden on working families and small businesses who are already struggling to keep up with rising costs for everything from housing to groceries and other necessities. Seniors on fixed incomes are being forced to make tough choices about which bills to pay, and energy costs should not be among them. The reality is that Social Security checks aren't increasing by 17%. Wages aren't rising by 17%. So why should utility rates? Families and small businesses are being asked to absorb increases that far outpace the growth in their income, and that's just not sustainable. Under the leadership of Speaker Coughlin, I think you've heard that the legislature is taking a hard look at energy affordability from the legislative side, because we know that unchecked rate increases aren't sustainable. But legislative action isn't enough. We're calling on the members of the BPU to play their role in joining us to protect ratepayers. That means working closely with utility providers to ensure that rate adjustments are fair, transparent, and justified, and hold them accountable when they're not. It also means encouraging innovation and efficiency in our energy infrastructure so that we can increase supply and resilience without passing the cost entirely onto consumers. New Jersey's working families and small businesses need to know that someone's looking out for them. We in the legislature are committed to doing so, and I'm asking the BPU to stand with us in this effort. Thank you again, Madam President, for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you, Assemblywoman. I can assure you that we are with you and trying to find solutions to ensure that that we provide opportunities for energy assistance and to lower people's bills, as we did last year with the residential energy assistance payment. After the increase that you're referencing, we implemented the $175 income eligible assistance payment. We've proposed it in the true up budget. And so we look forward to continuing to work with you on opportunities to lower bills. Thank you very much. Assemblywoman Andrea Katz, I believe, is our next speaker.
Yes, you may now mute your mic to speak.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, good morning.
Okay, that was a lot of anxiety learning how figuring out how I was going to mute myself. Thank you very much for listening today, and to me and to my colleagues. Every day I am hearing from my constituents who are facing tough decisions because they can't afford to pay the outrageous utility bill prices. And we know it is only going to get worse this summer. It is beyond unacceptable. PJM has simply not done their job, and they aren't getting nearly enough energy sources online fast enough to keep up with increased demands. At the same time, as utility companies are making obscene levels of profits, working families can't afford their electric bills. This isn't right, and I can't and I will not accept it. I have introduced legislation recently to close a loophole that utility companies have abused to give themselves bonuses, and also introduced a bill to cap utility rate increases at 2% annually. This is a start, but our constituents need even more. And I want to know what the BPU needs to solve this major issue. My constituents and I are demanding issues to this problem. I'm very grateful for you taking the time to listen to us today. And I am looking forward to working alongside of you to making meaningful progress for my constituents and lowering their utility bills. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Assemblywoman. We look forward to working with you as well. Appreciate your comments. Going back to our speaker list. I think the members of the legislature, I think that was our last speaker with Assemblywoman Katz. So we are moving on to Carol Evans is the next speaker that I have. Lauren, please correct me if I'm wrong on that.
You're correct. I don't see her online though, so we're gonna move on to the next person, which is Paulina O'Connor.
Great, thank you.
See if she's on. You may now mute your mic to speak.
Hi, good morning to board members and the BPU staff. I'm Paulina from the New Jersey Offshore Wind Alliance. We serve as a resource and voice of the offshore wind industry in the state. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today on energy issues that are acutely impacting residents and businesses of our state. Before I get into some of my remarks, I'd like to congratulate the BPU and other agencies involved in putting together the Energy Master Plan. We appreciate the opportunity to be involved, and provide our suggestions and look forward to engaging in the process in the coming months. I'll also add that you can't please everyone with the work you do. There's one important thing to remember, and I think no one can deny that there are smart, hardworking state employees who do tremendous work every day on behalf of the state. And when you look at what's going on at the federal level and the way brilliant public servants are being treated, it makes me appreciate the staff of this administration all that much more. So thank you for all you do. And as you continue shaping New Jersey's energy future, I want to emphasize why it's critical to stay on course on offshore wind. New Jersey has set ambitious clean energy goals, and offshore wind is the backbone of that vision. It offers a reliable, scalable solution to increase generation capacity while reducing dependence on volatile fossil fuel. By harnessing this resource, we can build a more resilient, self-sufficient energy system that benefits businesses and residents alike, helping us increase production and achieve energy independence. We also can't forget the job creation and economic investment, as well as the health benefits to both humans and environment. At the same time, I know this board is committed to ensuring affordability for ratepayers. Offshore wind is a long-term investment that stabilizes energy costs and protects consumers from price spikes. With smart planning and competitive procurement, we can maximize economic benefits while keeping costs predictable. New Jersey has already made significant progress. Now is not the time to turn back. It's time to push forward, ensuring offshore wind and related infrastructure delivers on its promise of clean, reliable, and cost-effective energy. And I'll remind those listening, adding supply to the PJM capacity market through offshore wind, demand can be brought closer to supply, which contributes to lower prices. Offshore wind is not, N-O-T not, connected to current energy rate hikes. Monthly utility rates only see a change after the electrons start flowing. Anyone stating otherwise is being purposefully obtuse. So, thank you for your leadership and commitment to a stronger energy future for New Jersey. I urge you to continue your support for offshore wind and related infrastructure and wish you all a safe and sunny weekend. Thank you.
Thank you, Paulina, for your very informative and diplomatic comments. I want to say, I can assure you that this administration is committed to offshore wind. It is unfortunate that the federal administration has set aside, which is, probably saying that being also diplomatic, set aside offshore wind as an opportunity to lower costs. But we know that the projects that New Jersey had awarded have the opportunity to bring on significant additional resources in a much quicker time frame than many other long-term large-scale resources. So if we want to help drive the costs of electricity down and stabilize the costs over time, we need large-scale electricity resources like offshore wind. So the administration is committed to moving forward, and we do hope that the federal government will see the opportunity that offshore wind provides as a long-term, large-scale resource. So thank you very much. We have Robert Domenico is our next speaker.
Yes, he doesn't appear to be online, so we're going to move on to the next registered speaker, who is Jay Weisbond. Jay, you may now mute your mic to speak.
And good morning, everyone, and thank you for the opportunity to speak today. I'll be brief. My name is Jay Weisbond. I'm a public policy assistant at New Jersey League of Conservation Voters, and we are the statewide political voice for the environment. We advocate for clean air, clean water, and equitable access to open spaces for all New Jerseyans. First, I want to thank the Board of Public Utilities for its hard work and leadership in advancing the Energy Master Plan. It is essential that clean energy remains a focal point in this plan, as committing to 100% clean, renewable energy by 2035 is essential to protect public health, create good local jobs, and mitigate the worst impacts of climate change. Clean, renewable energy is not only critical from a public health perspective, but also from an affordability standpoint. As the price of natural gas continues to rise, causing increased electric rates, renewables remain the most cost-effective energy source. And according to the Natural Resources Defense Council, had just 30% of renewable projects that have been stuck in the queue for at least 5 years been operational and bid into the PJM market, we would have had an additional 7 gigawatts of supply in the most recent auction. And that additional supply could have lowered the price by as much as 63%. And today, electricity from solar and wind can be half the cost of power from coal and gas. So solar is currently the cheapest form of all energy and is projected to continue to get cheaper. So we must incentivize and promote these cleaner, cheaper technologies. And the rise in electricity prices really underscores the urgent need for a more diverse and reliable energy mix. So currently, renewables like solar and wind make up just 1% of PJM's energy supply, but they must play a larger role to ensure future energy affordability and reliability. And we can lead the way here in New Jersey if we commit to these resources in our energy master plan. So as older fossil fuel plants retire, accelerating renewable energy integration is critical to mitigating future energy price spikes and building a resilient, decarbonized grid. And so we urge the BPU to continue to prioritize clean energy in the energy master plan, and work to remove barriers that delay the deployment of renewable energy projects. Um, because doing so will not only lower the cost for consumers, but also assure a cleaner, healthier, and more resilient future for New Jersey. So thank you for your time and consideration. I hope you all have a great weekend.
Thank you. Appreciate your comments. Let's see. Lauren, I lost my place on the list. Maybe you
That's
could tell us who our next speaker is.
Our next registered speaker is Noelle Walters. Noelle, you may now mute your mic to speak.
Hello, can everyone hear me?
Yes, good morning.
Hi, good morning. My name is Noelle, and I've been a New Jersey resident my entire life, and I just have a few comments and then a few questions. And I'm not sure, I guess you'll answer the questions at a later date, but anywho, I'll get started since I only have a few minutes. The Infrastructure Investment Fund, the IIF, an investment firm backed by JP Morgan, now owns South Jersey Gas. The IIF acquired South Jersey Gas in 2023 in a $8.1 billion all-cash deal. This was the first time a utility company in New Jersey was taken private. How did this acquisition happen? The New Jersey Board of Public Utilities unanimously approved this acquisition in January 2023, right before, I guess, several of you guys were appointed. Anyway, examples of said delivery charges with South Jersey Gas. A bill comes in the mail for $508. The breakdown of that bill, $385 is a delivery fee, $123 was the actual gas charge. Second bill, $327. Breakdown, $255 delivery fee, $72 gas charge. My personal South Jersey gas bill from January 9th to February 7th. My bill was $131.08. The breakdown, $120.93 was the delivery charge. $10.15 was the gas charge. Christine, you of all people should know what costs like these are going to do to people. More homelessness and hunger. How can you sit by and just watch this happen? I'm just going to read this because I think it's a friendly reminder to you all. The New Jersey Board of Public Utilities is a state agency with authority to oversee the regulated utilities, which provide critical services such as natural gas, electricity, water, telecommunications, and cable television. The law requires the board to ensure safe, adequate, and proper utility services at reasonable rates for customers in New Jersey. The board addresses issues of consumer protection. The board is also responsible for monitoring utility service and responding to customer complaints. Your mission statement, to ensure that safe, adequate, okay, I think I read that. It's safe, adequate, and proper utility services are provided at reasonable, non-discriminatory rates to all members of the public who deserve such services. To develop and regulate a competitive, economically cost-effective energy policy that promotes responsible growth and clean renewable energy sources while maintaining a high quality of life in New Jersey. My questions to you, if you actually put the words in your website's mission statement to use, how are you going to put a stop to this? 3/4 of the generation of our electric was slated to come from offshore wind. What is your plan to make up for this loss since New Jersey is not willing to pass wind energy? This summer, residents are going to see a 20% increase in our bills due to this $269.92 megawatt increase, which was previously $28.92 megawatt. What is your plan to decrease this amount? We deserve clarity on where these delivery costs are going, besides vague descriptions of quote unquote infrastructure and investments. We should not, as New Jersey residents, tax-paying residents, we should not have to pay for shortfalls in government when you just sold South Jersey Gas for $8.1 billion in cash. The utility companies have to open their books to you. The tax-paying residents that are paying your salaries demand to know the percent of the increase in the salaries of the executives at each utility company and what their bonuses are. The law requires you, the board, to ensure safe, adequate, and proper utility services at reasonable rates for all customers in New Jersey. It seems like your assistance program is the only thing you're actively doing to quote unquote help us. It's not enough. Not every single resident in New Jersey can apply for this. And from what I hear, it's really hard to get that money or to access that money. I want to know if it's possible for future solar panel grants. And my other question is, can you please put a cap on resident fees and charge large companies that consume lots of energy pay more money? Examples of this are large cannabis companies like Curaleaf. And I'm sure they get breaks in paying their utility bills because they're a large company, which is not fair because they're a mega gazillionaire company. And I believe that is it. That is everything. Thank you.
So really appreciate your comments, Noelle, and understand the concerns that you have and all of our residents have. And we do understand that utility assistance does not apply to everyone, although it does apply. It can be applied to a significant portion of the residents in New Jersey. So we can certainly have someone follow up with you. I'm going to ask Taryn Boland, our chief of staff, to follow up directly with you about that. But we understand that those programs are not available to everyone. So we are actively working, I assure you, to try to make sure that as many people as possible can get any additional credit available to offset some of these increases. But since you brought up solar, I do want to just touch briefly on community solar, because that is an opportunity to save 20% or more on your electric bill. So I would encourage you, there's a community solar project finder. Someone can put in the chat the link to the community solar project finder. Henry Guida, can you do that? And so that is an opportunity for all residents. It is not just open to low income residents. All residents have the opportunity to subscribe to a community solar project. If you can't, for whatever reason, get solar on your roof, if you live in an apartment or there are any other issues that prevent you from getting solar on your roof, you can subscribe to a community solar project. Again, it is not something only for low-income residents. You can subscribe to a project and that will save you 20% on your electricity bill. So I would really encourage everyone who's listening to take advantage of that opportunity. It's great for clean energy, but it's a great program to help reduce energy costs for everyone in the state of New Jersey. So thank you very much. Appreciate your comments. Okay, going to our next speaker. I think someone said that Assemblyman Bailey has joined us. So if we could just invite the Assemblyman to speak, that would be great.
Yes, you may now unmute your mic to speak.
Thank you so much, and I apologize for the technology issues on our end. This is Assemblyman Dave Bailey from the 3rd Legislative District. Thank you, Madam President, for this opportunity to speak today. I want to thank Speaker Coughlin and Majority Leader Greenwald for making this opportunity available to us and my fellow legislators, as well as constituents and other leaders that are weighing in today on this very complex issue. I share in the concern of my colleagues and our constituents and many of the concerns and comments that have already been made, so I'll try not to be redundant in a matter of time today. But as you may or may not know, in the 3rd Legislative District, we serve some of the most rural communities in the state of New Jersey, which again adds to the complexity of this issue. not only for transmission, but also the potential growth that we will see here in this part of the state. And so I'm going to be more pointed in my comments and focusing on the area of data centers and really how, as we as legislators, can we provide additional empowerment or further equip the BPU in analyzing these complex issues, especially when it comes to data centers. As a state, we have encouraged growth, and we have blueprints from other states that have already seen the growth of data centers. We see the pros and cons of that, what's happening. We've seen the impact on their consumers, and so we need to take seriously the potential impact upon our consumers as well. How can the BPU better plan for and work with and prepare our municipalities for this future growth of data centers and the impact along those, and look at modernizing, as Majority Leader Greenwald mentioned earlier, and coming up with creative ways to adapt to the changing landscape while certainly, again, protecting our consumers. I've put forth some legislation in regards to specifically to the data center issue. And so I look forward to working with you moving forward. And again, not only protecting our consumers, but also empowering and helping you in your role of dealing with many of these economic issues that come about as well. Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate your comments, and thank you for joining us, Assemblyman, and look forward to working with you as well. I believe, well, Lauren, since you know who's signed in, I will let you identify who the next speaker is. Is it Rihanna Napoli?
It is, but it appears that she's offline. And then it looks like the speaker after her is not online either. So I'm going to move on to Alyssa, who also doesn't appear to be online. So I'm going to move on to the next person. Looks like they are not
Dallas
on.
Taylor?
Yes, it looks like they are not on as well.
Okay.
Let me just double check. I don't want to skip over anybody. And then we have Brittany, and she is on. So Brittany, I'm gonna now mute your mic to speak.
Good morning, and thank you for allowing me this opportunity to speak and join you guys today. My name is Brittany Culver, and I am a resident of Knowlton Township, New Jersey. We are a small rural community located in Warren County. We have been facing an unprecedented amount of power outages in the last year. My husband's family has lived in this community for over 31 years and has never seen anything like what we've been experiencing in the last year. As we're currently facing raised utility prices, we are especially facing added expenses all the time due to these power outages. Myself personally, in the last 60 days, has spent thousands of dollars on a new generator, a new refrigerator, the cost of the groceries lost when the power goes out. I had a baby in January and came home with a 3-day-old baby to a power outage. Every time the power goes out, you spend more money on propane to raise the house back up to temperature. Residents are struggling to stay warm in the winter and cool in the summer. It feels predatory to us to be told that we're going to be facing increased utility rates when we're not even receiving the utilities that we pay for right now. We feel that these rural communities like ourselves are being largely ignored when all of these discussions are happening about major communities, South Jersey, North Jersey, and the cities. I want to know what is being done to address power outages, to address the fact that either the substations aren't being maintained, or maybe there's not enough tree maintenance being done. But out here in these rural farming communities that give New Jersey its namesake, we are being ignored and we are suffering. We cannot understand how we're going to have increased utility rates when we barely have power on as it is. Thank you.
Thank you, Brittany. Appreciate your comments. I do just want to point out that, you know, in a recent rate case that we settled, which I believe is the utility in your service territory, we we made sure that we were tying directly the revenue that the utility was making with the increased reliability to ensure that the utility was appropriately investing in infrastructure and upgrading the necessary infrastructure to prevent future outages. We can have our director of engineering follow up on the outages in Knowlton and get you a status on what's being done, because we really do take that very seriously. And we want to make sure that, particularly as we see costs going up, that the utilities are performing and making sure that there is reliable service. That is something that we take extremely seriously. Congratulations on your baby. I know that that does
Thank
not
you.
make things easier all the time when you have a new baby. I think many of us here are parents, so we understand that, and that is certainly something that we we understand is a challenge. So we would never want anyone to be in that situation coming home with a new baby, or anyone else for that matter. So we will follow up directly about Knowlton, and thank you very much for your comments.
Thank you.
Okay, our next
Well,
registered, sorry, our next registered speaker is Charles Kravitz. Charles, you may now mute your mic to speak.
Yes, good morning, all. My name is Charles Kravitz. I'm from Mullica Hill, New Jersey, down here in South Jersey. We're covered by AC Electric, which I have to tell
Good
you.
morning, sir. Could you speak a little louder? We're having a bit of a, or at least I'm having a bit of a hard time hearing you.
Any better?
Little bit.
Okay,
We'll manage.
good. My name is Charles Kravitz. I live in Mullica Hill, New Jersey, which is covered by AC Electric. I've heard a lot of political stuff going on here today, which is lovely, but you know what? I've made complaints about AC Electric now for months. I've been trying to get solar in my home, and I signed my contract on October the 5th of last year. AC Electric has done nothing but delay everything that we're trying to do. They come out, my solar company tells me they have to come out to approve the site. That takes 30 days. They have 30 days to come out and do that. Then they come out and they said they need a new transformer. Well, that takes them 4 to 8 weeks for their engineers to do that. And then they have 4 to 12 weeks for their engineering department to send a bill to my solar company. My solar company said they will pay the bill the day they get it. We can't get AC Electric to even send them a bill. I keep getting, first of all, AC Electric wouldn't even talk to me until I called the BPU up and complained. Right? I'm a senior citizen, I'm disabled, right? I was a first responder for 50 years as a volunteer EMS. I was a paramedic and a retired police officer. My pension doesn't go up, right? I'm still getting a pension from 15 years ago. That money doesn't cover anything, right? And your credit or something you give doesn't count for us because we make quote unquote too much money. $700 was my electric bill last month. Right? We came home from vacation in July. It was $800 for an electric bill. Right? The governor was big on this go green and all that stuff. Right? My home is all electric except for my heating, which is oil. And guess what? I'm getting $800 bills. How do you expect us to live like that? And then you call up AC Electric, they do nothing. I call up my assemblyman, my state senator, does nothing. We can't help you is what I get from their office. Well, who's going to help us then? Who's going to help the senior citizens and the residents of New Jersey? Because you know what? Nobody wants to do anything. And Mr. Conklin, I know him from 40 years ago when I lived in Edison Township. So I know who the gentleman is, right? But you know what? Nobody wants to do anything for us. How do I get AC Electric to get that bill to my solar company so I can get my solar put in already? Since October. Now, they said once they put my solar panels up, right, and AC Electric comes in, they have 2 to 3 months to hook it up and turn me on. So now I'm going to be into July, August, September of this year before I can even think of getting electric. And then it takes 2 to 3 months for the electric to start building up for us to get a credit on the bill. Well, guess what? I'm in December now, and I applied in October. That is ridiculous. You know, these people up in North Jersey with these power outages, why do we keep giving these people these rate raises when we can't even get the cooperation from them. I'm sick and tired of hearing, well, they're a private company. Well, you know what? That private company is providing my electric. And the BPU keeps giving them the rate increases. And I don't want to hear this PGM and all that other stuff. You know what? Tell these electric companies, because they're going to lose money if we go solar, they're going to drag their feet. How do we get AC Electric to stop dragging their feet?
Well, thank you very much for your comments, and I totally understand your frustration about getting solar online in your particular utility territory. We're gonna have someone here take a look at what's going on with your particular issue. I think you said that you reached out to the BPU already, but we have your contact information from the registration list. So we're gonna have somebody from our solar team take a look at it. Bob Rabson's gonna handle that as our executive director. So I totally understand your frustration, and we're gonna have somebody look into your particular issue. Thank you.
Okay, our next registered speaker is Heather. I apologize if I say your last name wrong, Szymanski. Heather, you may now unmute your mic to speak.
Are you with us, Heather? I think you're still on mute.
Yes, can you hear me now?
There we
Sorry. Thank you so
Yes.
much. And Heather Szymanski, very well done with the pronunciation. I'm with a benefit corporation called Sustainability Advisors. I'm representing a client in southern New Jersey in a disadvantaged community. It's a commercial realty broker that owns a shopping area that has over 20 plus stores. They cannot get solar at all. They're completely blocked out. So I totally understand the frustration of Charles, who was just talking, because this is a realtor company that's trying to do right by the community, not just for the energy efficiency and the savings, but for all the health and safety benefits that come with those programs. So, I've talked to a lot of people who have been very helpful. Henry Gaja at one of the energy efficiency conferences recently in King of Prussia was very helpful. And I've spoken for years because I am from Atlantic County in southern New Jersey. And we've got a lot to do on grid improvements. So I'm just wondering, one, what is going on with that currently? If there's a way other people can get involved in different action groups to bring solutions to the table. I know next week is an energy efficiency forum, which I'll be participating in. What else could we be working on with that? Another possible solution is that this real estate company would also like to represent the tenants, and that's been extremely difficult to get that done. And it's really, you're putting on 20, 25 plus different stores that want the realty company to represent them because they all have individual bills, but there's really not an easy way for that to happen. So I want to thank the NJBPU for everything you've done. We're number 14th on ACEEE's list for energy efficient states and moving up the ladder, which is fantastic. But the head of that, the American Council for Energy Efficient Economy, Steve Levin, he's retiring this year, unfortunately. But he said, we have a bunch of silver BBs, but no silver bullets. So what we see is collaboration between all these different entities is the solution. There's just not one big wind, nuclear, solar, or whatever. But if we can't even get the solar to help you guys out, we're kind of stuck. So I'm really looking for other solutions where we can participate in a positive way to get to the other side of this, because that's only going to help with all the rate paying and the security of our infrastructure across the board. So thank you so much. And I'm hoping to connect to somebody to help us to kind of streamline some of these solutions.
Thank you, Heather. Appreciate your comments. We have a grid modernization proceeding, and there are working groups associated with that. So I would encourage you, Bob Rabson can reach out to encourage you to work with our team on that. We do very much understand and appreciate the challenges going on in some more challenges in certain utility areas than others, for sure, to get those types of projects connected. So we really do appreciate that and are working on how we can ensure that the infrastructure throughout the state is available and accessible to connect solar projects and storage and other energy projects so that we can get more more clean energy online as quickly as possible. So Bob can follow up and get you involved with the grid modernization working groups. Appreciate it. Who do we have next, Lauren?
The next registered
Is it-
speaker. Oh, I'm sorry. The next registered speaker is Yasminelli Gonzalez. Yasminelli, you may now unmute your mic to speak.
Hi, good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for the opportunity to speak. I won't be before you long. I am Yasminelli Gonzalez, a resident in the city of Trenton, also an educator for the Trenton Public Schools, and currently a council president for the Trenton City Council. And I just wanted to comment basically on, as most people spoke about, the negative impact of the rising electric rates on our underserved communities. Even the moderate increases in utility costs can force families with limited or fixed incomes to make tough financial choices, whether it's cutting back on food, medication, or other essentials that they may need. And for many, these hikes are not just an inconvenience, but a real threat to the stability and well-being of our families. Policy makers must recognize that energy affordability is a critical issue. Excuse me, I'm actually in school, so you may hear the bell. Is a critical issue, and their decisions to prioritize the most vulnerable, which is our working families. And as we all know, Trenton is one of those populations where we have a lot of underserved families here. This means hopefully we can explore some solutions like rate relief programs, stronger consumer protections, and investment in energy efficiency programs that will help lower our long-term costs for our low-income households. So I'm hoping, I just wanted to put that on record, and I'm hoping that our concerns will go heard and taken seriously as we enact policies that protect and not burden those of us who are already struggling. Thank you so much for your time today.
Councilwoman, we really appreciate your comments. Thank you very much for taking time out of your day as a teacher as well. And thank you for what you do. My mom was a Trenton public school teacher. And so I also am from Trenton. So I really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy public school day to provide comments. We really do want to work with you and the city as our capital city to make sure that residents have the resources that they need. So we'll follow up with you directly. And, you know, we've been working with the legislators in your district to provide those resources to Trenton residents. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Thank you so much.
Okay, our next registered speaker doesn't appear to be on, so we're going to move on to the next speaker, which is Gail Smith. Gail, you may now unmute your mic to speak.
Good morning, Gail.
Is that good?
Yes, we can hear you. Good morning.
Okay. Good morning. I'm Gail Smith. I live in Powhatan Township in Warren County, and we have a serious reliability issue. Last year, we had 29 outages, some days at a time. So far this year, we're on number 12. It's getting to the point where it's hard to live there. And I have a hard time thinking that BPU is taking this issue seriously. It's hard to live there with this rate of outages, and JCP&L, there's no sense of urgency. I've only recently gotten them to acknowledge that there's even a problem out there. And then they tell me they'll work on it and get back to me, and then they don't call me back and won't take my calls. I don't know what to do anymore. What can I do? I write letters, I call, I complain. Nothing happens, and it's not okay. We need this problem fixed. I'm not here to complain about the rates, but I'm complaining about the reliability. It's just untenable. And I don't know what else to say. I'm with Brittany though, but I don't know. Does anybody else in the state get 29 outages a year? I would like to know that. Because if they do, it's a big problem. But if they don't and we're the worst, that's a problem too. So I don't know what else to say.
You're absolutely right. It is a problem, whether it's Pahatcong or any other municipality in the state. That number of outages is unacceptable. We are certainly very serious about ensuring that all our utilities are doing the necessary work to ensure reliability. But we obviously are hearing about the reliability issues in that particular service territory for JCP&L today. We'll follow up with you directly about these issues in Pahatcong. So we take it really seriously. I very much appreciate you taking the time today. Thank you. Is Ed Jenks here, Lauren?
He is not. It appears that our next 3 speakers aren't online, so that would conclude our speaker list.
Can we just make sure that none of the previous speakers who were not on at the time that we called them have not joined before we conclude?
It looks like that is it.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for joining. We really do appreciate and take very seriously all of the concerns that are raised about high bills and reliability. We are committed to ensuring that we do everything that we can to help to relieve the burden of additional costs on the New Jersey utility customers. We are going to continue to work with our members of the legislature, work together as an agency to ensure that we are doing all that we can to help to relieve this burden. We take these issues very seriously. We are all extremely concerned about any additional rate increases. And so we do understand very much and appreciate all of the comments that were made today. And we will continue to work on these issues as paramount to everything that we do here at the BPU. Before I open it up to any closing comments from the other commissioners, I want to just acknowledge the hard work of all of the staff at the BPU on all of these issues and everything that they do every day. It is a great team and has continued to work together. And I know I can speak for all of the staff that say that we are all working to ensure that we do everything we can to support our utility customers. So thank you to the team of people that are working at the BPU. Thank you to the colleagues and all of the board members for your consideration and your hard work in ensuring that we are doing everything we can to address these issues. So before we adjourn, are there any closing comments from our other board members?
Madam President, I'd just like to share your sentiments at how much we greatly appreciate the public for getting involved with this, for bringing things to our attention. We're fully aware of them beforehand, but hearing from the public gives us an added sense of urgency, which I know that we will all take very seriously. And we're looking forward to working with them as partners, in addition to our utilities and PJM, to find ways to solve these very complex problems. But thank everyone for joining today. And I can assure them that we as commissioners and our entire staff will work tirelessly to solve as many of these things as quickly as possible. So thank you all very, very much.
Thank you, Commissioner. Just a reminder to everyone who wants to submit written comments. The deadline is 5 p.m. on April 18th for written comments for this quarterly meeting. This is also, again, this has been live streamed, and you can find it on you will be able to find it on our website. Our next regular board agenda meeting is March 19th, which will also be live streamed. So thank you very much. And may I please have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day and a great weekend.